The story of the Black Seminoles is one of resilience, resistance, and the enduring power of community. It is a testament to the human spirit's ability to adapt and thrive under the harshest conditions. It's a story often overlooked in American history, but one that deserves to be told and understood. Their journey is a crucial chapter in the broader narrative of America's past. Emerging in the late 17th century, the Black Seminoles were not a distinct tribe, but a unique group formed through the intertwining of escaped slaves and indigenous people. This blending of cultures created a resilient and resourceful community. In the untamed wilds of Spanish Florida, runaway slaves found refuge from the brutality of plantation life. The dense swamps and forests provided a natural barrier against their pursuers. They forged a new existence alongside the Seminole Indians, a Native American tribe already inhabiting the region. This partnership was built on mutual respect and the shared goal of survival. This bond, born from shared struggles and a desire for freedom, led to a unique cultural fusion. The blending of African and Native American traditions enriched both communities. The Seminoles, facing pressure from encroaching colonists, welcomed the skills and strength of the escaped slaves. Together, they formed a formidable alliance against common threats. These two groups, bound by circumstance and common enemies, created a new society in the Florida swamps. Their settlements were a testament to their ingenuity and determination. They developed a system of mutual respect and cooperation. This system allowed them to thrive in an environment that was both challenging and hostile. Black Seminoles participated in the Seminoles' traditional lifestyles, learning their language and customs. This cultural exchange strengthened their bond and enriched their community. This alliance, however, was more than just a survival tactic. It was a profound partnership that laid the groundwork for a lasting cultural legacy. It was the foundation for a new and vibrant culture, blending African and Native American traditions. This cultural synthesis was evident in every aspect of their daily lives. This fusion manifested in music, language, and religious practices, creating a distinct Black Seminole identity that persists to this day. Their legacy is a powerful reminder of the strength found in unity and diversity. The early 19th century saw escalating tensions between American settlers and the Seminole, fueled by the issue of runaway slaves finding refuge within Seminole territory. This conflict ignited the Seminole Wars, three brutal conflicts spanning decades. Black Seminoles, intrinsically linked to the Seminoles' fight for autonomy, played a pivotal role in these wars. Their knowledge of the Florida terrain proved invaluable. Black Seminoles, skilled in guerrilla warfare tactics, helped the Seminoles resist the much larger and better-equipped U.S. Army. They participated in raids, defended settlements, and used their knowledge of the Everglades to outmaneuver their adversaries. One of the most prominent figures of this era was Abraham, a Black Seminole interpreter and negotiator. Though not a warrior in the traditional sense, Abraham's diplomacy and understanding of both Seminole and American cultures were crucial in navigating the complexities of the wars. However, victory for the Seminoles and their Black allies was a fleeting hope. Despite their valiant efforts and strategic brilliance, the U.S. government's relentless pursuit eventually led to the forced removal of most Seminoles and Black Seminoles from their Florida homeland. During their forced relocation to Oklahoma, some Black Seminoles were granted land and certain benefits as a recognition of their alliance and contributions. These benefits, though limited, provided a semblance of stability and acknowledgement of their bravery and struggle during the arduous journey. The end of the Second Seminole War in 1842 marked the beginning of a heartbreaking chapter for the Black Seminoles, forced removal westward. Along with their Seminole allies, they were marched hundreds of miles to Indian Territory, which would later become Oklahoma. This arduous journey, known as the Trail of Tears, claimed the lives of many, victims of disease, starvation, and despair. However, the Black Seminoles' forced migration didn't end in Oklahoma. Some groups seeking to escape the looming threat of slavery even in Indian Territory fled south. They sought refuge in Mexico, where slavery had been abolished, establishing communities that maintained their unique cultural traditions. Others journeyed even further, finding new homes in the Caribbean. The Bahamas, with its history of welcoming escaped slaves, became a haven for some Black Seminoles. They integrated into the island's existing communities, their cultural influence subtly woven into the tapestry of Bahamian life. This diaspora, while born from tragedy, underscores the resilience of the Black Seminoles. They carried their culture, their stories, and their indomitable spirit across vast distances, planting the seeds of their heritage in new lands. Section 4 divided we stand, the Dawes Commission and its aftermath. The late 19th century brought new challenges for the Black Seminoles, particularly those who had settled in Indian territory. They faced a rapidly changing landscape, both politically and socially, as the United States government sought to exert more control over Native American lands and peoples. The Dawes Act of 1887, aimed at assimilating Native Americans into mainstream American society, had unintended consequences for the Black Seminoles. This legislation was designed to break up tribal lands and distribute them to individual Native American households, but it failed to consider the unique status of the Black Seminoles.
The Dawes Commission, tasked with implementing this act, sought to dismantle tribal governments and allot communal land to individual households. This process was fraught with complications and often led to the loss of land for many Native American groups, including the Black Seminoles. This system, however, proved disastrous for the Black Seminoles. Many were left with insufficient land to sustain their communities, and the agricultural plots they were given often failed to produce enough to support their families. The Commission, influenced by prevailing racial prejudices, often categorized Black Seminoles separately from their Seminole counterparts. This racial categorization further complicated their legal status and access to resources.
This segregation had lasting repercussions, as Black Seminoles were often denied land allotments and excluded from treaty benefits afforded to Native Americans. The legal and social barriers erected by the Dawes Commission's policies created a legacy of inequality and disenfranchisement. This separation had a profound impact on Black Seminole communities. It disrupted their social structures and weakened the bonds that had held their communities together for generations. It sowed division, fueling resentment and mistrust between groups that had once stood side by side. The unity that had been a hallmark of their resistance and survival was now fractured.
The Dawes Act, intended to integrate Native Americans, ironically served to further marginalize the Black Seminoles, denying them the same rights and recognition. This marginalization had long-term effects on their ability to thrive and maintain their cultural identity. The legacy of the Dawes Commission cast a long shadow over the Black Seminoles. The policies and actions of the Commission left a lasting impact that would take decades to address and overcome. It wasn't until the following century that they would begin to challenge these injustices and fight for the recognition and rights they had been denied for so long. The struggle for justice and equality became a defining feature of their ongoing legacy.
Section 5, The Long Road to Recognition, Black Seminoles, and the Fight for Citizenship. The 20th century ushered in a new era of activism and civil rights movements across the United States, and the Black Seminoles were not exempt from this wave of change. They found themselves at the forefront of a struggle that was both deeply personal and universally significant. Having faced decades of discrimination and exclusion, they began to organize and demand recognition for their unique history and their rightful place within the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma. Their efforts were not just about gaining rights, but also about preserving their rich cultural heritage and identity.
The fight for citizenship became a central focus. It was a battle for dignity, respect, and the acknowledgement of their contributions to the Seminole Nation. Denied recognition as citizens of the Seminole Nation, Black Seminoles were excluded from tribal benefits, including healthcare, education, and voting rights. This exclusion had profound impacts on their community, affecting generations.
This exclusion, rooted in the discriminatory practices of the Dawes Commission era, fueled their determination to reclaim their rightful place within the tribe. The Dawes Commission's decisions had long-lasting repercussions, creating a legacy of inequality that the Black Seminoles were determined to overturn. The legal battle was long and arduous. It spanned decades, involving countless legal documents, court hearings, and appeals. Black Seminoles faced numerous setbacks, their claims repeatedly dismissed by courts that clung to outdated interpretations of treaties and tribal membership. Each dismissal was a blow, but it also strengthened their resolve.
However, they refused to be deterred. Their spirit remained unbroken, and their community continued to rally together, supporting one another through the challenges. Their persistence, fueled by a deep sense of injustice and a desire for equality, would eventually pave the way for a landmark victory. They knew that their fight was not just for themselves but for future generations.
In 2003, their struggle culminated in a historic court decision. It was a moment of triumph and validation for the Black Seminole community. The U.S. District Court ruled that Black Seminoles were indeed rightful citizens of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma, finally granting them the recognition they had fought so hard to achieve. This ruling was not just a legal victory, but a profound acknowledgement of their identity and history.